Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah. Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to episode number 100. The stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim Deacon Van Stratton. Alongside me, once again, is Rodney Newpol, the man. I miss you, man. Even though it's only been a week.
Yeah.
My greeting when I entered the chat a few minutes ago was like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen you in forever." It's like we just did this a week ago.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, how was Hawaii?
It was nice, man. Thank you. It was a lovely time. Lots of fun, great memories as always. Then took a short little trip to California to see some family, some friends, see the Ducks, which that's always a fun thing. So yeah, it's been good. Been back in Central Illinois. It is gray. It is wet. I can't tell you the last time I've seen the sun. Yeah, it sucks, but you know, at least we're here.
So. Yeah, I tweeted out today that I don't know when the last time I've seen the sun. I know it hasn't been this week, which means it must be high school baseball season. It is high school baseball season here in Illinois, and it always inevitably means the first 2 weeks are in a gym. And I would guess that coaching high school baseball inside in a gym is A, not easy, and B, not fun.
No.
Baseball's not meant to be in a gym. Anyways, but yeah, high school baseball season off to a rip-roaring start. Rain tomorrow, like 80 degrees on Saturday with more rain. And then
give us the
next week.
Give us the Jonah Newpol update. As a freshman at Morton High School, so he is on a baseball team.
Yeah, no, he made the baseball team. There's 15, 16 guys on a freshman team. They have a sophomore team. They have a varsity team. Baseball is quite healthy here. Really everywhere here in Central Illinois. Baseball is quite healthy. A lot of kids, a lot of talent, and we'll see. But we got about a couple of weeks of baseball season. Games will get going, and it'll be cold, man. He plays like March 28th or something. Gonna be cold.
Where's Coach putting him at? What positions? Where in the lineup? What's the role so far?
I don't know. He's typically played he's been a catcher and played third. We'll see. I mean, high school baseball, man. I don't know. He's gonna have to earn everything he gets. So we'll see. We'll see how he competes, and I think he'll have an opportunity to catch and play third. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see in about 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll report back.
Natural power hitter, speedster. Yeah. I mean, catcher third baseman is a power profile.
Yeah, he's growing. He's definitely growing. So hopefully he'll. I mean, with the growth means he'll muscle up a little bit. But we'll see. We'll let's revisit in a month after we played a couple games, and we'll see what happens.
Give the live stat updates.
There we go. Yeah, live stat.
I just can't wait. Like it's May, and you're just like, well, my son is now hitting 186. And
no, I don't. I'm not a big stat guy when it comes to my own kids and their sports. Like I know their team record, but I don't care. Like I really just don't care. That's for the coaches. That's for others to get concerned about. I love stats and like especially college bad things like that. But I don't know. I'm not real big into that. So I don't know. We could probably find it on Game Changer, but for now, we'll just let the coaches take care of that.
No, I think that's reasonable. All right. Well, thanks to everyone who is slowly trickling in to watch us and hang out with us for the next hour. Rodney playing the show as he's been doing for the last few Thursday nights. I'm excited. I've heard that there's a lot to talk about. My eyes in the sports world have told me there's a lot to talk about. So I'm fired up and I'm ready to rock and roll here. And I'm going to guess we start with college hoops.
Yeah, we are, but I'm going to mention our partnership over with Gateway Sports, and I want to thank them for all of their they continue to support us and what we do here. So if you love sports at every level, there's only one place you need to be. Gateway Sports covers it all: preps, college, and the pros. Real coverage, real voices, real passion for the game. From live shows to podcasts, Gateway Sports connects the region like nobody else. Proudly powered by First Form and Recalibrate. Visit gatewaysports.net. Every level, one gateway. That is the fine folks, and they put that together. And I still like it. I don't think you still like it, but I still do.
I have been using it though as our new like placeholder image for videos and stuff. Just freshening it up a bit, and they worked hard. They worked hard on it. I hand drawn. You can see the feature.
Yeah. So you're not completely ashamed of it, although you do look 40 years older in that picture.
I do look incredibly old, but I love the drip. I mean, they got the jersey right. Like,
Yeah.
There's worse things in the world. There's worse things in the world than someone drawing the likes of you. And it is baseball season coming up here very soon. So I'm all for it.
But yes, 10 days until Selection Sunday. Bracketology goes back and forth, so I don't necessarily know as if we need to necessarily break into. I mean, we'll do a little bit of that next, but conference tournaments are going on. Been some buzzer beaters going on, and you get it going, but then it kind of starts a little slow because you get a lot of quarterfinal games where one plays 8. You don't get a ton of magic, although Lehigh won at the buzzer about an hour ago. Arch Madness has seen a couple of good games that we're going to talk Arch Madness here in a bit because that one's near and dear to our heart. But the big boys, the big boys get started next week with the Big 10 tournament, Big East, Big 12, ACC, SEC, and then we're gonna have a bracket 10 days from now.
Which, Rodney, you can arguably say that the conference tournaments for the mid-major conferences are far more important. And far more must watch than anything that we're going to see next week. Like, it's hard to get up for a Big 10 tournament that has 18 teams now? Is it 18 teams in the Big 10?
18 teams, yeah.
And 12 of them are going to be in the tournament. Yeah. It's hard to really get excited that much. And like, obviously, college basketball fans, you're going to see great teams playing a head-to-head matchup, but ultimately, everything from like Thursday on is going to be meaningless.
Yeah. And they have kind of admitted over the years that like, we don't really take in effect who wins the conference championships on Sunday. Like Big 10 tournament goes on and then like 10 minutes later and they're like, we already had the brackets done. So like, it doesn't, you're right. It doesn't matter. I mean, and we hardly ever get an outlier where like, let's say Northwestern gets to the Big 10 championship. Okay, now you've got a little bit of a story, but like at this point, they would have to win like 5 games in 5 days. That's just not happening. It's just not. Mm-hmm. It's just not happening. And you're seeing some of these conference tournaments move to more of the latter bracket to just say, if you don't have a very good regular season, you're not going to get a great opportunity to win this conference tournament. You are going to have to pull the absolute unexpected to win 5 games in 5 days. It's just not happening. So you're right. Like these are big. These are the big ones. A lot of times we don't know a lot of these teams, but this kind of gives you a start. And okay, hey, I saw Belmont twice in the Missouri Valley. Now they're in the NCAA tournament. You see them, Belmont, Illinois. Ooh, I don't know. Like I saw Belmont play twice. They might be able to beat Illinois. You get a little bit of that, but not a ton. But yeah, no, these are some good games. These mean a lot more.
Mm-hmm. So this weekend, obviously we have Arch Madness.
Yeah,
that's what we're most fired up about. What are the other conference tournaments that are getting situated here in the early stages? So the first official tickets punched to the dance.
Yeah, that's a great question because a bunch of them got so we got started on as early as Monday, but even the Monday ones kind of start a little slow where they like play at campus on a campus site and then they take a day off and then they start coming together in a more of a central location. So let me pull up the championship week on ESPN page, which basically breaks down every conference tournament. Today's the 5th. So the Ohio Valley in Evansville.
championship week. That's a good tab to have on you.
It's
at
a great
all
tab to
times.
have.
I'm gonna
It's
need
the first thing I go to all the time. But Ohio Valley crowns their champion. It looks like that would be on Saturday. So we will get a ticket punched on Saturday. Going through it, I don't see any other championships.
That looks like the first one. So
Correct.
that'll be the first one, and then we got a bunch on Sunday.
Yes. So and then I know like the West Coast Conference, they'll be like Monday. They'll start trickling into Monday. In the Ohio Valley, that is going to crown their champion as early as Saturday. Tennessee State and Morehead State are the two favorites there. Tennessee State's the 1 seed, Morehead State's the 2 seed, and it is a ladder type where they only have to win 2 games. Literally have to win 2 games to win their conference championship. They'll play tomorrow, and then they'll play at 8:00 on Saturday for their opportunity. And so we could see the first ticket punch being something like Morehead State. Gotta love it. Yeah. Gotta love Morehead State.
Do you think that the Big Ten has ever gone and realized, hey, so I don't know if you know this, Rodney, but the last time that the Big Ten won a NCAA tournament, 26 years. I'm not sure you were aware of that and our audience here, but
I will make sure we'll get that updated.
Okay, yeah, report that. Thank you.
I'll let the people know.
Do you think that they've ever gone and wondered, be like, hey, you know what might be a problem here? Maybe it's the fact that our tournament runs longer than every other, and that our winner plays their last game like 2 seconds before the bracket is announced.
Yeah.
And then has to turn around and play a game 3 days later or 4 days later. Maybe this is a problem, but no one ever seems to care about it.
Yeah,
I don't know if that is any correlation, whatever, but I always thought that it was interesting. Like, that is always the final conference tournament to wrap up. It just so happens that they haven't won a championship in a very long time.
I think there's some merit there. I do think there's some merit there, but there's a couple tournaments that start tomorrow. The Southern Conference, the Coastal Athletic Conference, both get going tomorrow, and then there's a few that start again on Saturday. So, and as far as the big dogs, Big 12 gets going on the 10th, which would be Tuesday next week. I honestly, as a Kansas fan, I never cared how they did in the Big 12 tournament. Honestly, I didn't want them to get beat in the first round when they were like a 1 or a 2 seed, because that's just embarrassing, right? Like, you can't get upset by a 7 or 8 seed. But if you get beat in the second round of the Big 12 tournament, let's say that's usually like Thursday, I'm like, more time off. And it does not affect their seed, because when you're like Kansas in the Big 12, let's say you're the number 1 seed. Well, if you because you get a double bye, and if you lose on the Thursday, you probably lost to, like, let's take, for example, this year it'd be like Iowa State. Okay, right? Like Houston. Okay, Texas Tech. Okay, like it
happens. Yeah,
it happens. Now you just don't want to lose the first round to like Utah, right? Like that becomes okay. Now there are some questions.
Yeah,
but I will mention Kansas lost both games this week to Arizona and Arizona State. Bill Self got ejected. They now have 9 losses. They're probably going to lose in the Big 12 tournament, which means they'll be double-digit losses. It's almost never that a team with double-digit losses wins the NCAA tournament.
That's interesting.
Any of the double-digit losses. Now, Kansas did it in 1988. They were the last ones to do it. So, okay, while I'm talking about Kansas being pseudo-eliminated, well, maybe they can repeat history. But you go back all the way through, and none of the NCAA champions had double-digit losses since 1988. So, if your team has double-digit losses, you're probably done.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, how many champions have even been a lower than a 5 seed? I think the lowest ever was an 8 seed one year.
Yeah.
Which was that Georgetown or Villanova?
Yes,
one of the two.
Yes,
yeah.
So,
and that was a very rare instance. Now, you could have double-digit loss teams make a run.
Yes,
Final Four run, national championship run. but to win it all, yes. And I think that is a great, easy sort of thing when people are filling out their brackets, right? It's like, okay, I like this team. I may like them more than most, but like, am I going to have a 10-loss Kansas team winning 6 tournament games? Like, no.
Right.
So
yeah. UConn in 2023 lost 8 games. North Carolina in 2017 lost 7 games. UConn in 2014, 8. UConn in 2011, 9. So like 7, 8, 9, fine. We can get it done. But you scroll all the way down. Also,
that's all like one program that you just named too.
Well,
that's
UConn.
That's the best college basketball program, men's and women's, in the last 25 years.
Yeah. 1997 Arizona had 9 losses and they picked up a title. But it was 1988 Kansas, 27-11. That was Larry Brown, Danny Manning, his group. And also before that, 1985 Villanova, 25-10. 1983 North Carolina State. Those are all famous title teams.
So Kansas is at 9 right now.
Yes.
So they got to run the table, win the conference tournament.
Yes. And then you can keep them alive as a potential national champion. But they're not going to win. They're not. Bill Self has never really prioritized the Big 12 tournament. Now, that could change because they have lost 2 in a row. Now, they got Kansas State this weekend. Obviously, that could be their 10th loss. But Kansas State, they're better than Kansas State, so they should win that one. Get back at home. Anyways, let's get over to Arch Madness. Missouri Valley talk. Your Bradley Braves are going to take on Roger Powell and the Valparaiso Beacons. I'm finally getting over the Valparaiso Crusaders. I've said Crusaders forever. I continue to say Crusaders, but I think I've turned the corner on the Beacons. Anyways, Valparaiso's not a pushover, and we've got an interesting one now. Evansville and Northern Iowa are tied at 29. Those Purple Aces, which would be nice for my Illinois State Redbirds because ISU plays the winner of this. But first of all, what's your confidence level? Your confidence level in the Braves has been pretty low this year. Where are you at heading into the Arch Madness?
I truthfully cannot remember the last time I've been lower on a Bradley team going into Arch Madness. All right, I'll say this. They're the youngest or second youngest team in the conference.
Yeah.
And the fact that Brian Wardle was able to get that team with a ton of roster turnover, with a ton of inexperience, to 20 wins is super impressive.
It is.
And in a year where it probably normally, I don't think a 20-11 record would have been good enough for the 2 seed, but it just so happens that like this year it worked out. But like they are probably going to be underdogs if they get past Valpo, which isn't a gimme because like Valpo I think beat Bradley not too long ago.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. So if Bradley's able to get past Valpo, I think whoever Bradley plays on Saturday probably going to be an underdog.
Well, that's Illinois State.
They would be an underdog against Illinois State. I believe so.
They split those 2 games. Probably.
Yeah.
It's only going to be a point or 2, though. It's going to be as close to a pick 'em as possible, I think. But yeah, so if Bradley can get by Northern Iowa and Illinois State can beat. Oh no, excuse me. If Bradley can get by Valpo and Illinois State can beat Northern Iowa, they play on Saturday. Yeah. That's kind of fun.
That is fun. When's the last time that those 2 teams played each other in St. Louis?
Been a long time.
It has been a long time.
Because Illinois State doesn't even get Illinois State doesn't even get to Saturday very often.
Yeah, recent years, yes, that's true. And Bradley, it's almost been a little bit of a given the last few years. Like, oh yeah, they're at least making it to Saturday, and they've made it to plenty of Sundays here in the last 6-7 years or so. But yeah, like they're a team that's very dependent on their guards, like Jaquan Johnson, who's been very good, Marion Birch, but you stifle them and they don't really have any answer. They're not nearly as good of a 3-point shooting team that they were last year. Like last year, the reason they had so much success because they were the best 3-point shooting team in the nation for almost the entire year. which they just don't have that shooting threat this year. So I listen, it's cliche, but anything can happen in St. Louis. Anything can happen. Like Bradley, when they won it in years past, they were a 5 seed, a 6 seed. So you never know. But yeah, I don't have a ton of confidence in them because I've seen too many letdown games for them.
Yeah, no, it should be fun, and games get going again tomorrow. Basically, right in the I think it was 11:00, maybe, if Belmont #1 seed, and I don't Belmont's not even a given to win tomorrow. That's Drake. I know Drake's way down this year, but like,
yeah, I mean,
are we? I mean, Drake's won this league tournament 3 years in a row.
Yes,
yeah,
in theory. I know. But like I'm saying in theory that like because of the success from the last couple years, it's going to carry over into this year. And in theory, that would be right, except for the fact that it's a new coaching staff, a new roster. They're 6-14 in the Valley.
Yeah,
they're an 11.5-point dog against a Belmont team that is potentially an at-large team. Like Belmont's 26-5, dude. They're really good. They're a 11.5-point favorite, which you don't see a lot on a first round game in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Or a Friday game in St. Louis. You don't see 11.5-point spreads very often.
Yeah. Belmont won the last meeting February 3rd, 103-90. 193 points. Here's my guarantee.
Yeah.
They will not combine for 193 points tomorrow.
They could go over.
No.
They could go under.
They will not. They will go under.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I like those odds then. If it's the only way you lose is if they combine for exactly 193 points.
They will not get to 193. Valley unders continue to be very, very they allow people to get rich. Valley unders have been for years and years and years. Valley unders, especially first half unders. But I'm curious about this Evansville Northern Iowa game. I did not look at the line, but 64 points in the first half seems like it's probably right at about where they put it. It may have went over, but anyways, Valley unders have kind of been the way to go. So, anyways, that's like, college basketball.
That happens. Like it's a lot of you have playoff atmosphere, right? And for a lot of these players, it's their first time really getting either their first time in these games, period, or their first time getting like valuable minutes. Yeah. And like a lot of times you see teams come out and they miss shots and it's just a little bit sloppy out of the gate. Typically, I tend to agree with you. Like unders are the play, at least early on in these tournaments.
Yeah.
And I mean, like today, the two games, 67-63 and then 63-62. Like that's what I expect. That's what I expect. I expect 145 combined points in a game in St. Louis, or no, not 125 points. Yeah, that's what I expect.
All right, we got a few other topics that we're going to kind of rapid fire go through here. A few things that have kind of crossed my mind over the last few days. First of all, got to give a shout out to my Charlotte Hornets. So was a little concerned the Hornets were going to go to Boston last night, a Boston team that was 41-20, second in the East. And Charlotte put up a $118 and won the game by 29 points.
Yeah.
Khan led the way with 20. He was 7 of 14 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. Once again, very good. Lonzo and Brandon Miller both with 18. Kobe White off the bench with 17. I'm telling you, man, this Hornets team. So, like, I know that's one game, and now Jason Tatum's coming back. I know that's one game, but like,
no, Rodney. Okay, well, a couple things. Number one, before we get on the Hornets kick, I do have to say, and I'm shocked I haven't told you yet. On what day was it? Monday. This past Monday, I went to the Big Baller Brand store at the shops at Chino Hills, and I met the big baller himself, LeVar Ball. I got a picture with the big baller. I talked a little hoops. I asked him about Lonzo. Still don't know where Lonzo's going, but I got myself a Big Baller Brand hoodie. I got a bucket hat. Very nice guy. Has a little bit of a limp because of the whole the whole lost his foot or leg or whatever to diabetes. Regardless, I was in the presence of the big baller, so that was a fun time. Now, regarding the Charlotte Hornets, I got a couple great stats for you, and I think this proves that they are legit. So they had their long winning streak, and then they broken up by Detroit, heartbreakingly. But they're back to winning 6 in a row. They've won all 6 of those games by 15 or more points. Do you know the last team in the NBA, Rodney, who's won 6 straight games by 15 or more points?
Probably been a while.
It hasn't been as long as you think, but it has been a few years. It was the Golden State Warriors in 2017, 2018. That's the Steph Curry, Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors. The last time that there was a team that had a 6-game run of winning by such a dominant margin in points. Also, they have now held opponents under 100 points. Remember, there's a Hornets team that we used to be like, oh my God, they cannot defend.
Yeah.
So not only are they scoring, but they have held opponents under 100 points 15 times this season, which leads the NBA. So they are crushing opponents. They are stifling them on the defensive end. And what is it here? The lineup that they've put together with Lonzo and Brandon Miller and Knipple and Bridges and Diaby is something like 20-2 since they assembled that starting 5 together. It's an incredible run, and we're now looking at it here where since the end of January, best offensive team in the league, top 10 defense, maybe conversation of best team overall over the last 6-7 weeks or so. At some point, even if they are a play-in team, okay, if you get them as like the 7 or 8 seed and you're the Pistons, you're the Knicks, like, I don't want to play them in a 7-game series. If I'm the Knicks in particular, thinking that this is going to be the year finally, great. The East is a little bit more wide open. We're healthy. We got all these vets. If I got the Charlotte Hornets coming to town, I do not want to face them in a 7-game series. I do not, because the Hornets are bigger than them. They defend better than them. And since late January, they've been playing significantly better than them.
And they're young, so theoretically they'll stay fresh. Now going. Let's see, Matt has got to be top 10 to 12 in point differential now as well. Yeah, I mean Charlotte has been really good in point differential. They are 3.8. Their average. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 5th in the East. And would be 6th in the West. So yeah, right around top 10 for point differential now for Charlotte. But yeah, no, I mean, I was thinking Boston, because of their win over Boston. I was thinking, okay, if this is a 7-2 type game, 7-2 in the standings in the playoffs, Boston, yes, Jason Tatum's coming back. But boy, that's not a great matchup. Now, since Charlotte is 2 behind Orlando, 2 behind Miami, and 2.5 behind Philly. They're 2.5 games out of 6th.
Yeah, and it seems like you have to hope one of those teams really takes a dive. And Orlando, I think, still has a solid roster, and especially if they can get some guys back who have been out with injuries. And then Miami, like Spoelstra's just going to keep Miami at the level, and it's going to prevent them from tanking. Like it's not in the Heat's DNA. But yeah, so the Hornets, we're sitting at, hey, this is where they're at in the standings. This is where they're at in the point differential. A reminder that before their big win streak started, okay, so they had lost 94-87 to the Cavaliers. This is Wednesday, January 21st. They were 16-28.
Yeah, not good.
Okay, so 16-28, that's bad. What are they now? 32-31?
Yeah, that's a run.
That's 16-3.
Yeah, that's a run.
That's a run. That's a really good run. And the point differential is really solid. Like their and really like the most impressive thing to me is their defense. Like they give up 4 fewer points than the Miami Heat a game. The Miami Heat, who are supposed to be the disciplined, defense-oriented team.
Right. Yeah. No, that's crazy. That is crazy. And I love to see it. We'll see how long it can continue, but that's a great story in the NBA. I mean, they're almost 100% going to be in the at least a play-in because the two teams below them aren't even trying. I mean, you got Chicago, Milwaukee not even trying to get in.
Yeah. I would go as far as say all 10 playoff teams for both conferences are already settled.
It's set. Yeah.
It's all settled. Like Memphis is 6 games behind Portland in the West. Milwaukee is 5 behind Atlanta in the East. Yeah, it's settled. The only thing now that we are looking for is the order, because the order is still very much in play for a lot of these teams. But yeah, like the teams that are currently outside the play-in, their seasons are done. And what's the stat going around? Like the 10 teams, those 10 teams right now are on a combined like 40 game losing streak.
Yeah, like 44 losses in a row for the bottom 10 teams. Ouch.
Yeah, just brutal. Just disgusting. Yeah.
All right, real quick, I wanted to give the update. The Chicago Bulls did win. We played a little game, win with the Bulls win. They lost to Portland, and then they turned around and beat the Bucks. They went on like a 27-0 run and beat the Bucks by a lot. Since then, they lost to OKC, but they are currently beating the Suns right now. But the Bulls did win, so there goes we didn't know if they were going to win another game, but they did come away with the win.
Yeah.
They're 25-37. Their spot, like they're not really going to be able to drop much more. They're 9 games ahead of the Wizards. Like they're not going to drop that far. I mean, they're a game and a half behind Milwaukee. They'll probably stay below Milwaukee, but like Chicago is pretty locked in. Let's see, they're 2 games ahead of Memphis. So maybe Memphis would end up better than them. Doubt Dallas does, or 4 better than them. So Bulls are pretty locked in, about 22nd. We'll see if they fall any further, but 25-37 for the Chicago Bulls.
Hey, Rodney, do me a favor.
Yeah.
As I'm looking at the NBA standings and the scores for tonight, can you pull up the title odds? Just NBA Finals odds.
Yeah.
And give me the latest. Give me the latest.
Yeah, definitely. Pull those up right now. And let's see here. I don't need to verify my phone number tonight, DraftKings. Why do I need to verify my phone number?
And it seems like even if you check the option to say, hey, remember me on this computer, remember my username, they never remember. It's not just DraftKings. It's every site. It's every site that asks you about that. It's very annoying. I'm on my personal computer. No one else is using it. You're good. Thank you.
All right.
We don't need to do this song and dance every time here.
OKC is the favorite at plus 140.
Okay.
Denver's next at 6-1. San Antonio 8-1. Boston 9-1. Cleveland 12-1.
All right. I'm just going to point something out here. That the San Antonio Spurs had an 11-game winning streak. It got snapped on Sunday at New York. Okay. But then they turn around. They go to Philadelphia. They beat Philadelphia by 40 freaking points on Tuesday on the road. And then they're facing the Detroit Pistons, the top team in the East, and they beat the Pistons' ass by 15 points tonight. Why is it that the Spurs, who are like, how far back are they behind OKC right now? 3.5? Why is it that the Spurs at 3.5 are still worse in the odds to win it all than a 5th seed Denver team that's a half game up on the Lakers, who no one is picking to win the championship? What am I missing? And why are we not considering the fact that the Spurs are 44, soon to be 45-17? So the Spurs are 45-17, have an absolute freak in Wembanyama. They're super deep. They're going to be a 2 seed at worst, which means like unless they're playing OKC, who they've played extremely well against this year, they're going to be at home in every series. Why are we not looking at the Spurs as a team that's like plus 300 right now? I don't get it. I do not get it.
I don't get it either. They're not getting the love that they should be getting. I'm with you. I'm with you. Spurs 8-1. So you move down the line. Pistons 15, Knicks 16, Houston 22. Right? Like, yeah. I'm with you on San Antonio. I think 8-1 still a good bet to take them.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, Rodney. Assuming both teams are healthy, Thunder Spurs 7-game series.
I mean, I a lot of times tend to favor the champs. I'll probably take the Thunder,
which is reasonable, but like the fact that we're sitting here and we're sort of like debating about it in our heads because we've seen them play multiple times.
Yeah,
the Spurs handle them.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Matt has a question for us here. Sorry if you've already discussed. We haven't. But putting on your GM cap, assuming Jason Tatum plays and starts getting ramped up, what is your max minutes you would run him in the playoffs? 20 to 25? I think no more than 25.
In the playoffs, I think that's where I differentiate a little bit. So they're going to be ramping him up here. So the season goes on for another 6 weeks, right? We got like 20-ish games left, give or take. So you have 20-ish games to like ramp him up. You're probably going to be playing him 20 to 25 a night. Second half of back-to-backs, he sits. Like they're definitely gonna sort of manage him there. And then when he gets to the playoffs, I think because typically teams shorten their rotations in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the Celtics, if they're sitting there at the 2 seed with only Detroit and the Knicks standing in their way of making it to the NBA Finals, I don't think that they are realistically. If Tatum's still healthy and like feeling good and everything, and at this point, like the fact that they're bringing him back this early, I think indicates like they feel like he is really going to be the X factor for them in the playoffs, but he needs this ramp up period now. So yeah, I think the intention here is that we get to the playoffs, and assuming that he makes it through these few weeks, okay, he's all systems go, and he will be maybe not relied upon 100% like he's been the last few years, but pretty damn close.
Yeah. No, Matt. I mean, I think Tim's probably on it there. Originally, I would say 25, but it's playoffs. Like if you're going to play him in the playoffs, you got to make sure he's ready to go. You got to give him the green light to get going and do everything you can to win. And if he's your best player, your best option to win, you got to play him. So that's going to be a fascinating story here to see. 8 months ago or whatever he got hurt, 10 months.
It was in the second round of the playoffs, right?
Yeah, so end of May. So we're looking at May. 9 months ago, 8-9 months ago. I mean, typically that's a 12-month injury. So we'll see. All right, let's move on here real quick. I got a couple more things. Here we go. Hey Tim.
Finally.
Update us on the NHL.
What do you want to know? You got to lead me. You got to lead me to the direction that you want to go. You want to talk. You want to talk playoff picture. You want to talk trades. You want to talk.
Yeah, I mean, my boy Colton Parayko loves St. Louis so much he decided to not go to Buffalo.
I think it's less so about loving St. Louis and more so about hating Buffalo. And okay, did you have any idea? I had some idea. Did you have any idea that the Buffalo Sabres are basically going to be breaking their playoff drought this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're tied with Tampa at the top of their division, only 4 points out of the top of the East, where Carolina's there. So, yeah, Buffalo, Detroit's also a contender.
Yeah.
Montreal is decently contending. So we've kind of turned the tables.
Like the entire East, aside from Tampa Bay and Carolina, are all teams that I'm pretty sure going into this season were picked to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like I know like Pittsburgh was like, it was like, oh yeah, they're rebuilding, and like Buffalo and Detroit, they're like, oh yeah, they're still a ways away. And then meanwhile, everyone was like, oh, of course, Toronto and Washington and New Jersey and Florida are all going to be in the playoffs. So yeah,
Florida
East is wacky, but
yeah,
I
Florida,
mean,
Toronto are not making it.
No, they're not. And I guess we could start a little bit with trade deadline. So, the market right now really is fascinating. I think it's going to boil down to a couple teams, and the Blues are one of them. Like, your St. Louis Blues have a collection of players that can really sort of reset the entire franchise here. So I don't think they're going to trade Rob Thomas.
Right.
Because based on the packages that they want, it's like astronomical. Yeah. And he hasn't been good enough to, I think, warrant it. But like Jordan Kyrou, you have Justin Falk, you have Jordan Binghamton, like you have Colton Parayko. Like, the Blues can really sort of change the fortunes of multiple franchises across the NHL if they decide to just play ball and do a total rebuild, which I think you and I both agree they should do.
Yeah,
I think it's time to change things up. Yeah. So that's the one team. I think Florida, the more and more I hear people talk, like, we could see Sergei Bobrovsky being traded tomorrow, which, think about that. Think about the Florida Panthers, back-to-back champs. They've won the East 3 years in a row. Bobrovsky's in the last year of his deal. The team's been I mean, they've been snake bit this year, but like, they're the second worst team in the Eastern Conference right now. And like, that would be a shocking sort of thing, but like, it makes sense. Yeah. So you could have like Florida really changing the goalie market if they decide to move Bobrovsky. So like, those two teams, I think, have a lot of cards to deal with. And then I think the other seller that's intriguing, I mean, we've seen like Calgary thrown out there, but like, they suck. I think Nashville could be an option because Nashville was sort of in the playoff mix and now they're falling out of it. So you have Stamkos, who they just signed a year ago that they might deal, Jonathan Marchessault, Ryan O'Reilly, like a lot of vets that they could move off from. So I'm hopeful that tomorrow is an eventful day, but like with the NHL, you never know sometimes. Sometimes I feel like it's like the biggest NHL trades, I feel like they just come at random points during the year when no one expects them, not at a trade deadline time.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's actually 2:00 Central Time tomorrow is the deadline. It's like, oh, yeah. If you're going to, so I mean, you mentioned all those Blues guys. Like, Doug Armstrong's got work to do over the next 14 hours.
Yeah. So, and this is what he has to figure out. He's like, hey, do we need to get rid of all of these players tomorrow? No. But also, like, there are teams that are probably going to be desperate, and that are going to call, and on the off chance that you are able to get we get multiple high prospects and first round picks for Robert Thomas, you kind of have to do it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, because you're not going to get the same level in the off season, right. But all he needs is just one team to just sort of to overpay, I guess. And like, he's a good player. He's a really good player, but just based on the production, like, what they're asking for is probably an overpay, but that's the trade deadline. That's how it works. It's a seller's market out there right now.
All right, let's move to the National Football League real quick. See a DJ Moore, kind of the big name that was traded. So he was traded to Buffalo. A lot of news in the NHL and the NFL with the new season starting soon, but DJ Moore, and the Bears ended up getting a second round pick out of for DJ Moore.
Yeah,
I honestly think this is kind of a win-win for both franchises. Like, Josh Allen's got a dude that has shown production in his NFL career, and the Bears get out of that bad contract and they go get a second rounder, and they're gonna need a receiver. And they're going to really have to rely on Odunze, and they're really going to have to rely on Burden. But like, you're going to go get another receiver. Like, you could probably get a decent. I mean, Burton was a second rounder, wasn't he?
Luther Burden, yes, he
yeah,
was.
Okay, and he's done okay. I don't know if he's going to what his trajectory is going to be, but like, he's serviceable. So I don't know. I thought that trade was interesting and maybe a win for both franchises.
Yeah, we had talked a little bit ago about Buffalo, and that's a team that was a potential destination for someone like Mike Evans, but like the like veteran wide receiver market. So yeah, like DJ Moore he's not like the pure alpha number one wide receiver on a championship team. But when you look at their offense, like, they don't really need one. They just need like basically like what Stephon Diggs was, and like similar size, like consistent. I think that DJ Moore will have probably better chemistry than he's had with Caleb Williams the last couple years. So yeah, like I like the move for Buffalo's side. For the Bears, second round pick. There were some fans that thought he'd warrant a first. Was not going to warrant a first. No. But the second rounder is pretty solid. So yeah, I like the move for both. I think that it really works out equally. And sticking with the Bears side here is I'm very intrigued by what they're planning this offseason. So this is a Bears team that was very, very close to making the conference championship. They won a very tough division. Yes. They have traded DJ Moore. They've released Tremaine Edmonds. There was some talk about that they were going to be able to trade him. No trade partners, so they're releasing him. Their center retired.
Yes.
So they have to fill 2 offensive line starter spots, presumably a starting linebacker. I'm wide receiver, like they already have Burden and Odunze, and then they're going to let go of Cole Kmet. So it's not like they have huge needs there, but they're creating quite a bit of space in both on the roster and also like salary wise. And I'm like, do they get a bunch of complementary pieces, or is this like a hey, let's go for Max Crosby type of deal? I'm trying to
there's a lot of talk. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about Crosby. There's also talk about Trey Hendrickson coming over from Cincinnati to the Bears. They are opening up quite a bit of space. So I think they are going to be one of the more intriguing teams in the offseason. You mentioned it. They were right there. But yeah, they've done it. And I'm changing the subject real quick. David Montgomery getting traded. It kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
It did.
I mean,
yes.
I felt like that morning I saw something about he wanted traded, and then by that afternoon, he was traded.
The Lions need another running back, though, right? Like,
I would think
their success, I feel like, is so predicated on Jahmyr Gibbs and then a contrasting runner and the balance between them. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously excellent. He can be a number one pure featured back, like an every down back, but they have such a good thing in place, and I don't know why they would want to mess that up. So yeah, that definitely caught me off guard for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the NFL a little bit later in the month as kind of some more stuff happens. We are kind of up against the clock here. We don't have to go, be exactly an hour, but we're already at 50 minutes. So let's move on. Let's look at the roster. We do this every show here as baseball season. Gosh, we're 3 weeks from today. We're going to be baseball season will have already started.
World Baseball Classic already started. You were watching that Australia game last night? Watching that South Korea versus Czech game? I know you're all over that.
Yeah, World Baseball. I was thinking about that today. World Baseball Classic just comes at a bad time for me. It's just.
You know what they need to do? They need to do the World Baseball Classic in the summer. Like every 3 years, instead of doing an All-Star break, they have it in the summer. So it's like an actual break.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
when I'm in baseball mode, when there's nothing else going on in the sports calendar, not in the middle of March where you're going up against the freaking NCAA tournament. Like, nah, I'm with you.
All right, let's look at the San Diego Padres roster. you got a lot of the same big names that are still there. You got the Jackson Merrills, you got the Fernando Tatis, you got the Manny Machado. Shout out Mason McCoy, the pride of Washington High School, is on that roster and should be producing for them. Xander Bogart, you got a bunch of the same guys there. But what have you seen from the Padres in the offseason that maybe we forgot or will stick out to us a little bit?
It's the first time in a few years where I feel like the Padres had a very quiet offseason.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The biggest news for them, honestly, was probably who they lost. Dylan Cease being the big name who was in that rotation, signed a mega deal with the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's the big one. Yu Darvish is it, what? So what's the official deal with Yu Darvish? Is he's out? He's out for the year.
He's out. Yeah,
and it sounds like he's probably just gonna be retired. Like he's gonna be 40.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
He's still on the roster.
Still technically on the roster, yeah. But yeah, and then Robert Suarez was someone too in their bullpen who was their closer before Mason Miller got there, and then he signed a deal with the Braves. So really, it's more like who they lost. Yeah. And instead of trying to really go big and try to make a huge play at Kyle Tucker or whoever, which is what their sort of MO has been the last few years, they haven't really done that. But it's still a team that made it to the playoffs last year. The lineup is solid 1 through 5, 1 through 6. The rotation is probably the biggest question mark here. Like Michael King is their current number 1 starter. He missed a lot of time last year with injuries. Nick Pivetta is okay, but he's up there in age. Joe Musgrove, I think, has some injury issues as well. And then it's Herman Marquez and Vandy Vasquez. It's not a really great rotation, especially when you consider who they had there just a couple years ago. So there's enough here to be a playoff team, certainly not to overtake the Dodgers. And then when you compare, at least in my opinion, when you compare them to what San Francisco has done, where San Francisco had a very aggressive offseason, that's a team that looks really solid on paper. Padres could be looking at a third place in the NL West, maybe at 86, 87 wins. I don't know what their over-unders at right now, but yeah, they'll be good, but I don't think they'll be great.
I mean, you still got Arizona, who I feel like is the ultimate wild card a lot of these years. Maybe they'll be pretty good.
I have no idea. I have no idea what Arizona is going to do in any year at any point. That's very accurate.
Yeah. So real quick before we move on, San Diego is at 83.5.
Oh God, they put that so low. I feel like I keep going over with all of these. But 83.5 is so low. But
yeah,
I'll because I need to take it under. Teams have to be under. They have to be. So
you would think
I'll take under, but it'll be 82 or 83 wins. They're not going to be
last thing on the pot.
They're not going to be awful.
Last thing on the Padres. Do you remember who they hired as their manager?
Oh God, to replace Mike Schilt.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, clearly, I gave a whole offseason recap. I didn't even realize that included a new manager. Oh, goodness. Oh, man. Who
hired?
It's like a player. It's like a former player very recently, right?
Yeah, Craig Stammen.
Craig Stammen. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Craig Stammen.
Yeah, so for that, in that regard, I'm going under. I'm taking under. Craig, and Craig Stammen, I don't trust yet. All right, let's recap our Go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, historically, we've seen this before. When a team lets go of Mike Schilt, things take a turn for the worse. It's a mistake. It's a mistake to let Shilty walk out the door.
See it, Shilty. All right, let's recap our best bets for betting. This was a week ago, and before we do so, I will just tell you I'm 66 and 69, and you are 69 and 66. So that means you gained a gain somewhere. Let's find out how you did it. I first got the Western Michigan covered over Miami, Ohio by 12.5. I got it.
All right. I thought the Bucks would cover against the Knicks. They were at home. They got pummeled. They were absolutely destroyed on Friday. So that was an L. L for me.
Yep. I moved to my second game, and nope, Illinois did not cover, nor did they win. LLL.
LLL. Shout out to the Grizzlies. I had your voice in my head saying, like, the Grizzlies feel like a team that even though they're supposed to be bad, will just randomly win. And yeah, they're road dogs at Dallas, and they won this game comfortably outright. So shout out to the Grizz. Well done.
Pistons did not cover 6.5 against the Cavaliers. Oh, by 6, they did not. They ended up winning that one though, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they won by like 2 or 3 points, and that was an overtime game. And then they had played again a few days later, and Cleveland beat them.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it was 122-119 Detroit. So got the win, did not get the cover. Thinking back, that's probably too many points, but oh well.
That happens. All right. I also took an L on that Michigan-Illinois game. I had the over 159.5. It came in, I think, at 154. So it wasn't a good college basketball best bets for me. I'll just say that. But, gained a game on Rodney somehow.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Arkansas plus 9.5 didn't happen. Florida.
Destroyed.
Pretty good. Probably the fourth best team, I think, in college basketball. They are probably, I mean, you got Duke, you got Michigan, you got Arizona. I think you got Florida next. Florida just keeps rolling, and the Hogs couldn't get it done.
They got close to 120 points against Arkansas.
Yeah.
They rolled them. Capitals beat the Golden Knights outright. By the way, Rodney, I don't know if you know this. The Golden Knights, so yesterday they beat Detroit in overtime. That was Vegas's first win against a playoff team since November 20th.
Yikes. Vegas hasn't been very good, huh?
Vegas is winning the division.
Yeah, 72 points.
Winning the division with 14 overtime losses.
But they can't beat playoff teams.
Six total wins against playoff teams this year. And one of them in the Western Conference. So yeah, they have one total win against Western Conference playoff teams this year, and they're leading the division. It's awesome.
Frauds.
Yeah, no, it's very good. Mark Stone, by the way, shout out Mark Stone making his annual trip to long-term IR right before the trade deadline. Great.
Yeah. Gonzaga, St. Mary's went to St. Mary's this time. We really deserve a Monday night trilogy as the last Gonzaga St. Mary's rivalry game here. That would be the West Coast Conference Championship Monday night. Didn't get it done. St. Mary's picked up the win. Congrats to the Gales on that one.
All right, and then my last one here, I went with Rodney's Billikens. They won by 15. They were not able to cover the 16.5-point spread. So honestly, bad week for both of us. I was 2-3. You were 1-4. Hence the now 3-game margin that I have. Still leading. Hey, listen, man, football ended like a month ago. I'm still here. I'm still leading. So just waiting for that comeback anytime now.
Time to get back on track. We're going to do it a little bit rapid fire tonight. A lot of times we don't like to pick the same ones. I didn't realize this until after I had done it.
All right.
You like Murray State as well. But anyways, so I got Murray State minus 1.5 tomorrow afternoon over UIC. I like my Hornets minus 6.5 over the Heat. I like the Sharks minus 130 in San Jose over my Blues because you never know who's going to play for the Blues tomorrow night. That's a good point, Rodney.
Mm-hmm.
Seton Hall plus 5 over St. John's. The Pirates are desperate. They need a win. And then I will take the Canucks and the Blackhawks going over 6.5 goals. The Canucks have lost 7 straight games.
Yeah.
They've given
Canucks
up
are awful.
5. They've given up 6, 5, 3, 5, 6, 6. And Chicago, not necessarily known for their defense as well. I will take over 6.5 between the Canucks and the Blackhawks. Those are my 5 best bets for betting.
That's a generational hockey game there to wrap up your best bets for betting. All right. My 5 rapid fire. Once again, the Spurs are being totally mistreated unfairly by the national odds makers, and they're an 8.5-point favorite hosting the LA Clippers tomorrow. I'm going to take the Spurs to cover that one. They'll win big. On the other side, so Jason Tatum is making his debut hosting Cooper Flag and the Dallas Mavericks. 15.5 points is just absurd. Tatum's not going to play all that much. Cooper Flag is back. Dallas nearly won against Orlando tonight. So I'm going to take the Mavs plus 15.5. That's just that number's so gross. All right. Miami of Ohio. They have one more regular season game to try to complete the 31-0 season. Will they do it? Perhaps. But like their last 3 games, man, they're really skating by the skin of their ass a little bit. They're barely pulling out these wins, and now they got to go on the road against a rival team in the Ohio Bobcats. So I'm going to take the Bobcats here plus 5.5. Sticking with hockey, I'm going to go the Detroit Red Wings. I'm going to take a minus 1.5 here. So on the puck line against the Panthers team that might be making some deals tomorrow, might not have Sergei Bobrovsky in nets. So I'm going to take the Wings. And then, as you mentioned, it was one of yours too, Murray State, 1.5-point favorite against UIC in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. I'm taking the Racers, minus 1.5.
Okay. There you go. Those are our best bets for betting. Good luck to all of you in your best bets for betting.
Good luck.
All right. Last thing I want to do here, and you can't forget this. We can't cut short because this is our daily, our every night segment. Let's remember somebody. Let's remember someone. Tonight we are going to remember. Do you remember Mark Price? Do you remember Mark Price? Do you remember Mark Price? What about you, Tim? Do you remember Mark Price?
Do you remember Mark Price?
I do. Kind of in my prime time.
I don't. Yeah. No, well, okay. So I know who Mark Price is. I know he was an all-star guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the 80s, 90s. I know Mark Price. But you got to understand, contrary to what this photo may show, I am not that old. So Mark Price was a little bit before my time, unfortunately. Like his last year in the league was 97, 98. Yeah. I was like 5 years old. So Mark Price was a little before my time. So I can't wait to hear your memories about him.
Yeah, so obviously, he was part of the Craig Elo heartbreak against MJ. The shot at the buzzer on Elo. Mark Price was part of that group. He played with Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance. Good Cleveland teams. He scored nearly 11,000 points, so he had a nice career. 15.2 points a game. Pretty good assist guy. Nearly 5,000 assists in his career. 2-time NBA three-point contest champion. Also had his number retired at Georgia Tech, so he was a really solid college basketball player as well. 4-time All-Star. I mean, just a solid player, man. I mean, he's a solid player. What else to say here? But I mean, this has been a while. You're right. He was the second-round draft pick, so there's been a lot of guys that were picked ahead of him. And this was the draft that had Brad Daugherty as the number 1 overall pick. Cleveland from the Clippers at that point. So Brad Daugherty, number 1 pick, but Mark Price got picked later by the same team.
How about this? So the Cleveland Cavaliers in one draft got Brad Daugherty, 1st overall. They got Ron Harper, 8th overall. And then at the top of the 2nd round, swung a deal. So Mark Price, who was originally drafted by Dallas, but was dealt that day to Cleveland. So Brad Daugherty, Ron Harper, and Mark Price, all in the same draft. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's real solid.
It is. That was the same draft as Dennis Rodman was part of that draft. Mark Price was picked 2 spots ahead of Dennis Rodman.
Yep, near the top of the 2nd round there by Detroit. That's exactly right. And then Cleveland also had another draft pick there. They got Johnny Newman, who was only there for a year, but Johnny Newman ended up being in the NBA for 16 years. Played a lot with, looks like Charlotte, Milwaukee, the Knicks, kind of bounced around a little bit. So, like, lots of NBA talent that Cleveland was able to add all in one draft here. That's pretty solid. It makes sense why they were able to sort of compete in the Eastern Conference a bit.
This was back when the NBA draft was 7 rounds. It was 7 rounds of the NBA draft here back in the 1986 NBA draft.
That, you know what? I'm glad we don't have that anymore.
Yeah. Yes, we don't need 7 rounds.
I'm looking, and not a single player in the 7th round ever played a single second of NBA hoops.
Yeah.
Round 6, there was like 5 guys who made it to the NBA. The most successful being Pete Myers. Do you know Pete Myers?
Yeah, he was part of the Bulls organization. Yeah, Bulls. Ended up being a coach for the Bulls for a while too.
Yeah, so that was like the most successful 6th round pick. There was only 4 guys in the 5th round who played. The most prominent being Clinton Smith from Cleveland State University. Yeah, this was a good decision by the association to just ditch 5 rounds of this draft.
Also, one more nugget. Also, the draft that Jay Billis was drafted in.
Jay Billis, look at that.
Jay Billis.
Love that. Love that.
Also never played in the NBA. But anyway, so that's who I want to remember tonight. It's Mark Price.
Shout out Mark Price.
Yes, shout out to Mark Price. All right, make sure you follow us on our Twitter page. It is Twitter. It's not X. Stupid Sports Show. No W on the end. Reminder: the breakfast and brackets that I'm doing with Aaron Ferguson is on every morning, 9 a.m. Talking college basketball. It was a little bit later this morning. I had to take a kid to the dentist, and I spent an hour and a half at the dentist office. So breakfast and brackets was a little bit later this morning, but I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
What was it? A planned dentist? Yeah. Was it an emergency dentist?
Yeah, but no, it was planned. But we had an appointment at 8. We got there at 7:50. I'm like, okay, they'll take us early, and they took us early. But she was literally back there an hour and a half. Why do we have to spend an hour and a half at the dentist? But anyways, we'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. talking college basketball. We'll do that each weekday, at least through the NCAA tournament. Aaron has been joining me the last several days, and it's a fun little talk. We spend 20 minutes or so talking all things college basketball. And also make sure you get signed up on our Substack for your picks right to your inbox. A bunch of college basketball going on. We'll get them in those inbox right around 500 so far on the month, but a lot of days left. So those are the PSAs for tonight.
Well, thank you, Rodney. Those were immaculately read and delivered with the utmost grace and professionalism. I'd come to expect nothing less after 135 episodes of the Stupidest Sports Show. Yep.
We'll be back.
What do you say
tonight, right?
Yeah. What do you say we do this again on Tuesday? That sounds like a good idea. We will have a Missouri Valley Conference tournament to discuss, as well as some other conference tournaments. We will have. When does the NFL officially begin? Like the new year begin when was like free agency and all that. Do we know? I'm sure we know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's March. I'm going to look up the exact date right now.
We didn't talk any NFL Combine. That was last week.
The draft's coming up. It's about time you give us another update of your draft.
I was told I was not allowed to until like the week of the draft.
But
I can. I'd love to. I'd love to give a full-fledged mock draft. Now that we have Combine done, I think once free agency hits and we start to see how teams are filling in the gaps on their roster, I'll be able to put together a very accurate mock draft ahead of the official draft in April. Where is the draft this year? Because they change the location now every year. Are you looking up the free agency date? You having some trouble?
Why doesn't it just tell me when the new season starts? I just don't understand.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's March. I know that.
Well, the free agency negotiating window opens this coming Monday.
All right, so Monday. So we'll have NFL talk.
So we'll have like actual NFL free agency stuff to discuss too, because that window is just like, oh yeah, so and so agreed to a deal, which they'll then sign once the league begins. That'll be fun.
Sounds like we've got a lot to talk about on Tuesday.
So be there, 9 p.m. right here
on
YouTube, on Twitter, wherever you're watching us. Just watch us there again, but on Tuesday. And yeah, that about does it for the show. Thanks to everyone who chimed in, who watched us, who supported us, who cried for us, who bled for us, and who died for us.
That's right. I
hope memories will live. Your memories will live on.
I hope
for the next 135 episodes. All right, let's get out of here. On that note, this is why you don't let me close out the show, like because I just say things like this. Like you got to just take it home at that point.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, bye.
All right, yeah, see you guys. All right, let's get out of here. We'll talk to you again Tuesday night, 9 p.m. for another edition of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. See you guys.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.